Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Roo.
Welcome to Couch in the Roo, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis, helping people to do better, be better, live better, look better, smell better every damn day of their lives. Jason, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, buddy. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, man.
Also, our Wednesday show is presented by our friends at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar. And that's just north of Frandor on East Saginaw and Lansing, just before you get to East Lansing if you're coming from Lansing, just on the edge of Lansing if you're coming from East Lansing. And just an outstanding place. Great place to watch a game. Cask & Company, good date night vibe. Just a cool setup. Two adjoining restaurants, one modern American Asian menu, and it's got something for everybody. They do everything they do there really well. And Cask & Company and Front 43. So, yeah. We got what I think is going to be a decent show for you today. It's just going to be me and Jason for an hour, just rambling, our thoughts, all that stuff.
Right.
Does it sound good?
Yeah. Should we end the show now?
Let's just end it. No, there's a few things with Michigan State football I want to get into. Is that the closing music? It'd be funny if that triggered the end of the auto podcast and that was it. It went out to people.
I mean, Zion was a big deal because he was a huge guy, and I just broke my chair.
By the way, we're starting to get requests in for different. Jason, do you think that Bill Beekman, Yoda? Should we start the show? Do you think that Bill Beekman? Intense Mel Tucker is. That's bad. Jason, do you think that Bill Beekman
Cockburn.
run the ball well? Elijah Collins does.
Oh, no.
That's bad. I've lost my confidence. We're not going there today.
Is it even backwards?
No, I've lost it. So we're going to do some MSU football because I think there's some interesting things going on from the practice this morning. I wrote a column that's, of course, stirred some things up. We'll get into that a little bit. We're going to talk a little Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, and the Pistons Summer League and some of the stuff happening there, and a little Tigers with Casey Mize, and we'll do that kind of with our bets, which Jason and I will do our parlays suggestions. Neither one of us have won a parlay yet that we've suggested, but the parlays are hard to win, and we're doing three-teamers. So,
and I save the winners for myself.
That's right. He doesn't actually share those. But let's start with MSU football and what I saw this morning at practice and what I heard from Mel Tucker.
More videos. Appreciate you.
And Kaplovic, the offensive line coach, today. I mean, so a couple things that are, yeah, I did. My videos were better today, didn't you think?
Yeah. I learned a lot more today.
Two things happened. One, they were actually doing shit. Like there was, it was like team practices, not like just drills. They were actually running offense.
Tackling.
And the other thing is the way the sun and the sky makes a huge difference in terms of if you're facing into the sun and you're trying to shoot video, it's difficult. So a couple things. One, and again, this could be day by day. We see a snapshot, 15 minutes of a practice in a given week. It was their first one with pads on. But they began it with Peyton Thorne at quarterback going first, Anthony Russo going second. Elijah Collins was with the ones at running back. Jordan Simmons, 2s, Walker, 3s. Now, I don't think that's going to stick. But that's just a snapshot. In that moment, that's what we were seeing. And I think the quarterback thing is more interesting to see because we'll get a snapshot probably next week, too. And what does that look like? And when they'll have a scrimmage, I think it's this Saturday and next Saturday, 2 scrimmages. And these will be, I think, very determining on what happens. They can also be misleading, but they can, famously, Damian Terry had this one unbelievable scrimmage when he was a true freshman that led to a lot of the talk about whether he should get a look at quarterback and the chants in the crowd. Terry.
That's all it takes. It's just one practice.
And there was a lot of things that came out of that sort of mythical practice that were not actually correct in terms of who he was up against, in terms of how far the depth chart and what actually happened. But nonetheless, the scrimmages, I think, tell coaches a lot. And I thought it was interesting today. You see Elijah Collins there, a guy who was, I think, fell off a cliff last year, and a lot of it probably had to do with his bout with COVID, and he said it. But we kind of forget about how good he was, how good he looked as a redshirt freshman 2 years ago. And one of the things Mel Tucker said to him, he said, I like what you've been doing. Keep it up. That's Mel Tucker to Elijah Collins right now. I think, Elijah Collins is going to be in the hunt here. Another interesting quote, and this is from MSU's offensive line coach on Jarrett Horse, who's the Arkansas State transfer, as a Sun Belt All-Conference player. Looks like he's going to be the left tackle. He says Horst has a will to finish that not a lot of people have, and both he and Tucker talk glowingly about him, and they have not had strength at left tackle since Jack Conklin, and what that does to a team. I mean, if you want to look at MSU's record with Jack Conklin and without in the last decade, it's pretty remarkable. That entire it wasn't the entire 36-5, but it was. Because when did he finish? Did he give me 1 second? I need some music.
Thanks for your patience. We won't be long now.
Yeah. I'm right on this. Yeah, it was the 36-5. He finished in 2015. So he comes in as a redshirt freshman preferred walk-on, wins the starting job in 13, 14, 15. They go 36-5. With that kind of left tackle. I'm not saying Jared Horse is that. There were a lot of other components that made those teams go, but they have not been anywhere near the same club they were at quarterback, running the football, anything, since they've had a left tackle. And Horse is a guy they talk about, like his name pops. People ask about him. The coaches aren't shy about saying certain things about him. The offensive line is, for all the other positions we talk about, going to determine this year, I think. They just haven't been good there in so long. And again, I'm not going to really, really tout something and believe it until I see it. It's just been too long. You lose credibility. It's the boy who cried wolf at this point.
Shooting videos. The boy that cried wolf shooting videos at practice.
I'm saying
trying to get us going.
They are the boy who cried wolf. They've said, I think we'll be better. The line's going to be better. Well,
you have to say that.
And some years they haven't really, though. To be honest, some years they've we're working on things. This year, and they haven't said this year they're going to be great or anything. They've talked about a couple individual pieces, and it appears AJ Curry is going to be on the right side. At least that's where they're at right now, with Horst on the left. And, and Curry, you actually have tackles a little bit. The key is, what I don't think they still have in the program, at least in terms of veterans, is depth at tackle. And they've had a lot of injuries up there. They've got to find a way to stay healthy. And on the interior, I think there's some depth. They've got 9 guys who have started games. Some of those guys have started at tackle, but they're not tackles. They're guards that have been playing tackle, and that's been part of the problem. They need their tackles to stay healthy this year. And they've got some veterans. They've got some depth in the interior. I think there's not a huge drop off at center, after Allen and so but can because the first time we'll know it when we see it. It'll be at Northwestern. If they get a push, and Northwestern's not Ohio State, and I don't think anybody's expecting them to get a push against Ohio State. You want to be competitive. You want to have your moments. You want to, be able to protect your quarterback to some degree, because that's how you won before. But you didn't dominate Ohio State even when you had an okay running game. You want to be able to get a push against the good Big Ten teams like Northwestern. I'm not talking just beating up on the worst team in the league, that whoever that might be next year or this year.
Is September 3rd this Friday?
No, why?
Please. I'm just looking at the calendar. I don't know 3 more weeks of this. I know we're down to 3 shows a week, but remember when we were doing 5?
How bad this would be.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, I thought this morning was interesting. There's some video up. A number of people will be writing about it right now about
Peyton
Jared
Thorne's
Horst.
the guy.
No. I don't think that. Again, we get a snapshot. Anybody who's writing that is
Please write that. Come on.
But it would have been interesting to me if he wasn't the guy taking reps with the ones, and it might have just been. Look, yesterday. It might have been Anthony Russo. We don't really know that. Mel Tucker says the tape determines it day by day. But, again, right now, Thornton running with the ones, Elijah Collins with the ones. Those are interesting things. Connor Hayward, everybody wondering what sort of position he'll be in, and they're planning to use him in a number of ways, but he was doing tight end drills today, so I don't think you'll see him carrying the ball a lot traditionally out of the backfield.
Did Mel Tucker put Peyton Thorne on the first team to motivate Anthony Russo? We have more coming up next.
Motivate Anthony Russo. Mel Tucker did. Shit. I can't do it. Do you think that Bill Beekman... Fuck.
This is my favorite part is just Bill Beekman part. It's
bad. It's bad.
No, it's the best. It sounds just like it. It's just not worded properly, right?
Yeah. Well, beyond, there's so many issues. So the other thing that MSU football related is I wrote a column that of course stirred some stuff about how I think Michigan State football should require fans to be vaccinated at Spartan Stadium this fall. And I of course got the responses you'd expect.
Seen a lot of nice ones here.
A lot of nice ones. A lot of people liked it. A lot of emails where people were very, complimentary.
Completely ridiculous and unnecessary.
Well, there's
Brandon Smith.
Yeah, and there's some, people are all over the place on it. But what I think some people miss, you can tell some people didn't read it because it's not an overly political column. And if you think having the conversation about vaccine requirements is political, then it's probably that your politics are the problem because that's a public health thing. Like somehow we got here where standing firm against the vaccine, back in the day with like polio, they just did the shit in school. You didn't have a choice. Like you just got the vaccine and now we don't have polio. And again, everybody has a choice and you have a choice not to attend certain things. My point was this. It was a column that Michigan State has made this determination that their upper management, their leadership, their brass has decided in the interest of the health and well-being of their students, staff, faculty, community, and local economy that everybody on campus has to have at least one dose of the COVID vaccine by the end of August. And so if you've determined that is what's best for your community and local economy, why wouldn't you then do it for big events that have the potential for some spreading? Lollapalooza had it where you had to have a recent test or a COVID vaccine. That would be something that you could look at. In England and some of the Premier League stuff, you just sort of say it and it helps. But also then they do random checks. There are a number of ways to do it. University of Hawaii is developing an app, from what I understand. But from a logical standpoint, if you think this is what's best for your community, then Spartan Stadium ultimately you think should be vaccinated. And if you're not doing it, you're not doing it for the purpose of because you think financially it'll hurt you. And I'll say this. The loudest people who are upset about it are the people who are either unvaccinated or really hate it, and they're threatening never to have, season tickets again. Michigan State has lost fans before for reasons a lot more
polio?
worthy than this. No, but back in the day when George Perlis was made the athletic director, and a lot of people were unhappy because the school president didn't want that to happen. A lot of people gave up their season tickets, right? And there are times that the other thing is people who are on the side of not being vaccinated are louder than the people who are on the side of being vaccinated.
I think there's vaccinated people, and I would count myself as one of those that's just kind of sick of it as well. To seeing in the news, we have to go back to masks.
Dude, we're all sick of it.
I understand. But I'm saying I disagree with the point where it's just it's unvaccinated people that are at the forefront of this. I just want to be back to normal as well, but I'm still willing to do whatever it takes, whatever the CDC says to get there, sure. So I think there is vaccinated people that are still sick of this topic as well.
We're all sick of the topic. I'm not talking about saying sick of the topic. I'm saying people would say if MSU were to do this, that would be it. They would give up their tickets. They would. That's fine. But I also think there are a lot of people, and I've heard from a lot of them, who have said, if this happened, this would be the only way I would go to games this year. Now, what's the difference is a lot of those people aren't gone for good. They're not going to, but I don't know where the numbers shake out. I don't know who the big donors are. Certainly what you have a risk of if you do it a certain way is you have a risk of confrontation. 70-year-old usher, angry unvaxxed person, right? You're trying to.
And they can be faked. And
well, that's fine.
It's a waste of resources.
It's not a perfect situation. But if you say our policy is you have to be vaccinated, a lot of this is the honor system. It's the honor system for students to some degree at Michigan State. You're asking people, and just by doing that, you're going to help it to some degree. It's not going to be perfect. And again,
But it's about money.
It's absolutely about money. And in some logistics, I do say this because 6 weeks ago in June, I didn't think this was our positivity rate was 1.5%. Did I want everybody to be vaccinated? Yeah, but the viral load around the community was nothing. And so it was like, okay. And the problem is, so if we were in this spot 6 weeks ago, MSU could say, all right, we need to develop and you have a month now, and that's not a ton of time to figure out how you go about doing something. I don't want people to think I hate unvaccinated people. Like one of my wife's best 3 friends in the world is unvaccinated and drives me insane. She is
you secretly hate her?
No, she's an intelligent person, and I know her reasons for it, and I don't think they're accurate, and whatever. But still love her to death. Great person. One of my closest childhood friends, I understand is unvaccinated, and still love the guy, and intelligent dude who's done really well in life, and don't understand why he sees it the way he does, and we haven't had a lot of conversations on it. I've got an uncle who's a physician, for fuck's sake, and he's not working in COVID wards, but I think
we're dropping MFers.
I think it's for mostly religious reasons and things, but he and his wife, or my aunt, are unvaccinated, and
what are you trying to say?
What I'm saying is, I still have many good memories of him, like him. What I'm saying is,
totally disagree with your uncle, right?
I do, and it's fine to do that. And so this is not me hating people who are unvaccinated. I disagree with them perfectly, but this is not even about me, and that's what I try to get to in the column. And a lot of people don't read the column, you can tell, and they think it's political. This is simply the logic of MSU has already decided this is what's best. Therefore, you should follow through and do it with events that are on campus. It just makes sense. If this is how you view is in the interest of the health and well-being of your community and your local economy, which I believe is true, and I do believe, yes, there would be some backlash, but I believe it would be paid forward to you as well. And I think it would be paid for you in certain ways more than they realize, because those voices aren't as loud. The people who would appreciate it aren't as loud, aren't as temperamental. It's the old I want to avoid confrontation deal, right? And that's if you read the piece, and I did a Twitter poll yesterday, and the Twitter polls are flawed things, right? Because two things happen. One, there are a lot of people who disagree with me on certain things that have unfollowed me throughout the pandemic, although it was retweeted from the LSU.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
I followed you back.
Thank you for doing that. And frankly, they were for 4 hours. I think I accidentally made one for a day, and they were you don't always reach all the perfect people, and people can manipulate them. But what it told me, basically, because I don't think people go, I keep hearing, Michigan State would lose half its fan base. That's bullshit. And maybe half the public that isn't vaccinated at this point. But it's just sort of like voting adults. Voting adult. One of the reasons you've seen a lot of people change their tune on the right about this is because 70% of the voting public is vaccinated. It's not really. It's not as so much. It's not. It's not quite where people think it is, because there are a lot of people who are just on the marginalized in the society who aren't, and there are a lot of people you have to reach who politically wouldn't be at all on the right side of things. And so
I thought it was interesting, though, the number that you said. I might be off on this, but like 200 and so season ticket holders are paying or making a donation equivalent to what their season tickets cost to hold them to 2022.
270 covering 800 tickets.
That's pretty. That was an interesting stat there.
And there are 5,000 new tickets. There are people who are excited about this. People who are not season ticket holders or mini plan holders who have gotten tickets already. But if you look at the seats available, and now single game seats are going on sale, it is going to be a smaller crowd, I think, unless they. I mean, it's possible they get there, but usually at this time you've gotten more season. You can't go buy some of the season tickets that are available. So there's some good opportunities. Maybe there's a little more elbow room. Maybe you can get an extra ticket for a friend at a big game, and that's awesome too. And so there's some things that might be better for the overall experience. But going back to those Twitter polls, like I really think, and I don't think that it's true that only 10% of people are unvaxxed and plan to go, which is based on my following in these polls over 1,000 people, which that that's true to that poll, and that poll number is not going to change the more people do it, because what we found in Twitter polls, once you get over 100, 150 people, the numbers don't really change if your audience doesn't. But I would guess it's well under 25% of that stadium that's not vaccinated. And I would guess it's about 25% who truly are sometimes people who go who aren't going to go this year because they're not yet comfortable. So I think the financial calculation isn't maybe what MSU thinks it is. That's all I'll say on that.
And Let Freedom Ring kind of responded to your tweet, says, I'm fully vaccinated, but I don't think anyone should be forced to vaccinate or mask people against their will.
I'm not. It's
no,
not an
no,
issue.
I'm just saying that's what he's responding with, though. Takes like that, you really can't be mad at it. If they're fully vaccinated, but yet, you can't, if you feel like, well, you shouldn't be told what to do. And I kind of feel that way, too. If you don't want to get vaccinated, I don't know if you could really force someone.
I'm not forcing you to get vaccinated. I'm just saying you can't come to the game or don't come to the game, because this is not people keep.
But it's easier said than done.
Right, absolutely. But people say, well, it's look at you from a health standpoint. You're a fat ass. You're probably do we look at obesity and other things and other but that doesn't spread. I don't sit next to you. Like if Audrey Dahlgren is sitting next to me, who's slender and beautiful,
Calm down, Weinstein.
She doesn't become ugly and fat just by sitting next to me. But if I'm infected with the virus, I can pass it along. That's the difference. That's all I'm saying. It's a. This is a. You think that Bill Beekman. This is a virus that's airborne, man. That's all I'm saying. So some of these.
What a weird visual, though, that
dumb.
Audrey Dahlgren just gains an extra 100 pounds sitting next to you
and becomes ugly with like 3 necks. That's what the equivalent would be.
All right,
but you could vaccinate against it. And I also want 8-year-olds and 10-year. I want parents to be comfortable bringing children there, and I don't want to hear well, look at the numbers. How many children have died? Look, there are children who are sick right now. There are lots of parents who are concerned about their children, and if you get vaccinated,
I would leave your kids
better
at home for another year.
Well,
to be safe.
You just hate kids.
Yeah,
that's not. That's
except
not
my nephew. But
it's not. You wouldn't even vaccinate children. You just want to kill them off.
Oh, I'm not crazy. Don't bring me into that ring of craziness.
Anyway. It was not. It really wasn't. I don't think a political column. I think it is sad that when you write about a vaccine, people think this is politics. This is my beat. This is Michigan State football. This is sports. This is a pandemic that has taken over every element of our lives, including athletics, including everything I write about and do for a living. Like, this is absolutely my job. Even if you don't, and I enjoy doing the stuff outside of sports a lot. But even if you don't like that stuff, this stuff is right in the wheelhouse.
But it's not. It's a topic that you kind of always, politics gets brought up into it.
Sure,
no matter
but
if
it shouldn't.
It's solely about a sports topic, you end up talking about.
It shouldn't. We ought to be able to talk about whether it is correct to have a vaccine mandate or require vaccines, or how we want to do that in an event without it being politics. Why is it politics? I ask you that. Why is it politics? And I was talking to Linda Vale about this, who's the Ingham County health officer. And you talk to these different health officers around the state. Not all these are not all Democrats, I'll tell you that. And not all of them agree on everything. But they're all getting just blasted with hateful emails and responses and people threatening them all the time right now, like that job. And the question, like, to what end do they not have your well-being out there? Like, what is their end goal? If they're, I'd like you to wear a mask and be vaccinated. God, they're trying to control me.
Getting paid to try to control you, right? I mean, that's the theory. Being told what to do. Someone's always on the take. That's why you can't trust, anyone, politicians, etc.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
You got a phone call? You want to take that?
No, read the column if you want. If you don't. But I think there's a decent point to be made that MSU already feels this way. It's made this determination. I think it's the correct determination, and I think a lot of people would feel safer who are there. And if you don't feel that way, I don't hate you. I'm willing to have discourse with you. I think a lot of people online will tell you that. And I don't particularly want to talk politics all the time. I enjoy politics, but we love talking sports here. I just think this is part of the equation now when you have rising case numbers and you're a month out to the season. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about what happened last night with Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green, and then we'll give our parlays as well. Couch in the Roof, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis and Front 43 and Cask & Company.
Wherever you are on your cannabis journey, let Skymint Premium Cannabis be your guide, your friend, and your place. Whether you're curious about cannabis or a seasoned connoisseur, Skymint's knowledgeable staff will help you with a vast selection of products to choose from to fit your needs. Skymint believes access to the best cannabis helps people do good and feel good, so they grow it right here in Michigan, giving you high-quality, locally grown cannabis at highly accessible prices. Visit skymint.com for special offers and location information throughout Michigan, and use the promo code CouchAndRube20 for 20% off your first visit. Skymint Cannabis. You'll love this place. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com. Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. Two amazing places with one awesome blended modern American-Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. If you're looking for a relaxed vibe, great food, and an outstanding beer selection, Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing is your place. Enjoy their famed chicken and waffle fries, fish and chips, or any of their delicious burgers or salads. Midtown Brewing Company also offers 40-plus beers on tap, including ciders and seasonal offerings and daily happy hour specials. The spacious and cozy vibe makes Midtown Brewing Company a perfect place for a beer with a friend, a work lunch, or to watch the games on its big screen TVs. If you'd rather eat at home, Midtown Brewing Company offers a terrific carry-out menu and free delivery on orders of $20 or more. Visit MidtownBrewingCompany.net or stop by 402 South Washington in downtown Lansing for the Midtown Brewing Company experience.
Find Couch in the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
Couch in the Roof, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis. Last night was a Skymint night for me, Jason. It usually is for you. I'm like
It has to be.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
I'm like a 2 or 3 night a week.
2 or 3?
Guy.
That's it?
Yeah, because the problem is I do lose the ability to do work if I'm going to work at night.
That's true, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have to be done for the evening. So.
Right. So there are a lot of nights where I can't quite be done for the evening, and I want to be able to truly enjoy it.
Or you can taper back and just, you don't have to go 25 mgs, Couch.
You do 5.
Just because it's a chocolate bar doesn't mean you have to eat the whole thing.
Do you do 10 or 5 mgs?
Both.
With a gummy?
Both.
Yeah, same.
15. Yeah. The caramels are absolutely fantastic at Skymint, by the way, too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Those are like 22%.
And if you go to Skymint, of course, use our promo code CouchAndRube20 for 20% off. 3 locations in the greater Lansing area, many more throughout Michigan. Go to skymint.com for location information and daily specials. You sign up, they send you their latest deals in an email that comes almost daily, and it's really, really, really awesome. The 2 things before we get into the Cade Cunningham thing. This was, if you look at our show, it says it's our 602nd show. Like we missed our 600th show.
We did.
We didn't.
It was last Friday.
No. So what happened, and I was going to do a bid against you, and I forgot to do this. I was going to make a big deal of it, and then
we missed the show?
If you go way back, we missed like 12 shows twice in the same week, numbering the shows.
So damn, we're on like 1,000 shows.
No. We're on like 580 right now. That's what I'm saying. We're like 20 shows away from 600 still.
So we can have a celebration again.
We can do it again.
For 600.
We barely celebrated this time. But I meant to do a whole bit about it. But we screwed up the labeling of the show like twice in the same week. And I don't know if it was you. Alex actually thinks it's possible it was him.
It's probably me.
But this actually may be our 31st show, and we've just been screwing up the numbers.
Yeah. Maybe it's the Skyman making it feel like it's only 31.
Yeah. No, absolutely. All right, so last night.
Big game.
Summer League game, Summer League action too. I mean, that's what's weird about the Summer League, though. And I'm having some fun with the hot takes and the Summer League thoughts, but it's also the Summer League. And like James Edwards said, give me a Summer League hot take. And I was like, if Cade, gets outperformed by Jalen Green, they've got to move him. And, like, it didn't used to be that you had these sort of hot takes about the Summer League. And what's changed, I believe, is this. Everything's in Vegas now at large arenas where there are a lot of fans and it feels big and they feel important. It used to be like half the games were on 10 a.m. on NBA TV at the Orlando practice facility without fans. And so nobody ever did an overtake on that. And now it just feels like more of an event.
Yeah, but there's nothing else other than baseball to watch. I mean, he put this on during the NFL season in college.
I'm not saying we shouldn't watch it. I'm just saying that.
Well, I mean, that's why people, I think, are gravitating towards it more
right.
and overreacting to an exhibition game where two guys win at each other. I don't know how. I hope these guys don't go on Twitter because I'm sitting there watching cut-up video of, Jalen Green getting crossed over by Cade Cunningham, all those the Bleacher Report and all those 15-second clips. It's like, Jesus, man. Just let these kids play for something.
It was fun. It was fun though. Last, Houston beat the Pistons, and they're not that. Their summer league team's not that great. It has no reflection on what their actual team will be. Houston's got some interesting young prospects I kind of like, but in terms of the Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham matchup, Cade went at him a bit, and there was some physical bravado. He took it to. There were some things I really liked from Cade. There's still this part of me that is. That thinks, I think Jalen Green's going to be a great scorer in the NBA, and I don't know what that'll mean in terms of wins. Like, does he become a guy who's a superstar in terms of carrying teams, or is he just a scorer? Like, I don't know. But, there's still a part of me that every time you watch him and go, boy, that guy would be nice. Oh, you could have had him. Oh, that was but Cade Cunningham clearly has an it factor with leadership. He is a guy. He had a crossover 3-pointer that reminded you what he can do on a basketball court, driving to the hole, just sort of bullying his way to the rim. There are a lot of things that it's fun to see him do in a Pistons uniform, and they're.
But as a number one pick, is he doing things that you haven't seen in a while? And that's why it's kind of like, all right, Cade Cunningham, he's going to be hopefully a solid pro, but he just doesn't have that when you watch him, the wow factor.
No, but
it's not. There's no wow there.
Well, but he's not wow athlete. But he's never been a wow athlete. Right. That's not what you drafted, and he doesn't have to be a wow athlete. Luka's not a wow athlete.
I want a Ricky Davis type player.
Yeah.
I miss Ricky Davis.
I know. I was.
But what are we taking away from this game here?
I'm just taking away that I thought he came out, competed, and looked. There were some promising things, and Houston has some dudes. Who's that other guy? The
Yao Ming,
not Yao Ming.
Hakeem Olajuwon, Mario Ellie, Sam Cassell.
What's his name? Fuck me. It's not even in the first. People who write stories about teams and don't include the main guys in the stories, that pisses me off.
Jeff Green.
No. Give me 1 second. It's
Larry Nance.
No, it's not even. It's a name. It's on the tip of my tongue too.
Cockburn.
Yeah, that's not that. It's not that. Oh, it's Sengun. Sengun is the guy. Jason, do you think Sengun is Bill Beekman? Anyway, I thought he's a really nice player. I think they've got some nice young pieces and good for them. And I hope the Pistons.
What about Siku? Who has a better shot of making the Detroit Pistons roster, you or Siku Dumbayu?
There's a chance he's still on the roster because he's under contract, right? And but I think this might be. He looked better yesterday. I think he may be done.
4 for 11.
He was not. He was not.
Excuse me, 3 for 8.
He was not great. It's not. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to get into that a little bit for those who watched it, and
what were your 3 takeaways?
I felt better about
Cade's for real.
Yeah, no, I just felt better about Cade Cunningham
leadership.
Overall after that game than I did going in, just a little bit because I hadn't seen some things, and I still think Jalen Green's going to be a monster. I like Houston's draft. I tell you this, I would trade Houston's draft for Detroit's with Sengun and Jalen Green over Cade and Garza and those guys, and I would absolutely trade Houston's draft for the Pistons in a heartbeat, without question. All right, we do not have Harry with us today.
He's got a doctor's appointment.
Yeah. And the funny thing about dealing with Harry is the time zone difference. Listening to Jason try to text back and forth whether Harry could do today's game.
Today's show, yeah.
Today's show, I mean.
Yeah, I love Harry, but he's thrown off by time zones. I'm like, are you still traveling? He goes, oh, no, I'm on my way home to Arizona. It's like, all right, tomorrow, 1:15, 1:20, 1:30. He's like, oh, I can't do it. I have a doctor's appointment. I'm like, yeah, but it's like, what is it, 11 o'clock there?
Something like that.
Something
yeah.
like that? It was 9 a.m.?
Yeah.
So, yeah, unfortunately, Harry won't be able to join us.
No. Yeah, but so you got us, and we'll give you some shitty advice.
Or Boona Boona Boona.
Boona Boona Boona. Has he tweeted today out his games?
Of
yet?
course. You didn't get the newsletter from Boona Boona Boona?
I usually do. Let's see. I don't see it though. Oh yeah, let's see here. This is great podcasting. Okay, here we go. No.
Yeah, this is our last Wednesday show ever.
Yeah. I don't know. He does these tweets and replies, so it's hard to sometimes tell when I just go to his.
We should have just recorded the lunch we just had and just aired it on this shit.
Yeah, it would have been good. Okay, so this is his. He went 4-0 yesterday.
Of course.
And he was on the way to 6-0, and the Nats game got suspended. So today he's got White Sox, Tigers, Dodgers, Braves money line, Indians run line. I don't love the Tigers today. You love the Tigers today. The Tigers are going up against Matt Harvey, who gave them fits last time. He hasn't been great. The Orioles suck, and Scooball's on the mound. But Scooball, I'm hesitant to trust a little bit. The money line is not bad. It's -115. I don't hate that. Might drop a little on Scooball, and I think if I were to do a parlay,
the first 5 innings is +100 for the Tigers.
it's not bad. It's not bad.
Minus a half. Scooball strikes out a lot of guys, and the Orioles are one of the worst. Why don't we just ship them to Montreal, make them the Expos, so we can bring back the logos? I mean, if you're just going to play terrible baseball.
I like the Orioles.
Yeah.
Spend the Nationals back. I mean, the Nationals were the team that was the Expos. That's not fair to Baltimore.
I'm just saying. I was trying to figure out a way to get rid of the Baltimore Orioles because they're complete ass.
They are complete ass.
How is that possible that you're a professional franchise and you put out a product like that? I mean, I know the Tigers have, but good Lord.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. They're horrible, but the Tigers were worse 2 years ago than the Orioles are now. Like we forget how bad the Orioles or how bad the Tigers were because they've started to play. They were a guaranteed loss most nights. The question was whether they would cover the run line.
Buenos tardes.
Even made
It is time for
our
the
own song
Detroit
out of it.
Tigers gambling update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's like a like kneecap lock. I just like Scooball and watching the Orioles last night.
All right, so
He'll be fine for 3 innings, but they're terrible.
Here's my parlay. I'm going to take the Tigers for the game tonight. I don't trust the I mean, I don't not like the 5-inning line, but I'm going to take the Blue Jays with Manoah over Bundy with the Angels. It's -190, so it's a little pricey. Actually, I'll even go I'll go all the way down to -1.5 on that. So that's it -125, and then give me the run line -1.5 with Valdez against the Rockies and the Astros at home, -130, and I'll add that up. Do you have 3 games that you really like this evening?
I do like the Tigers money line. I just think the Orioles, they're just a complete shit show. Tampa Bay Rays against the Red Sox. They're at Boston, but I like the Rays +1.5 at -185, and Atlanta Braves +1.5 at -185 for a tally of +343.
Okay.
You know?
That's not bad. 343. Okay.
All right.
I like where your head is. And, I mean, that's the thing.
Baseball, listen, last night I was freaking White Sox-Twins game away. The White Sox were killing the Twins. The last 2 times I've watched the White Sox, they scored 90 runs, hit 3 home runs in the first inning of both games, and then they can't beat the Twins last night. So baseball is just – it's so frustrating. This is a sport that typically people tell you that there's an edge on, right? Our friend Greg Peterson.
Right. Look, the problem with – I mean, that's why baseball is – like, in theory, if you've got some money to kill, you bet underdogs in baseball. Because on a given night, you know, all the shit you think.
Twins were like plus 165 or something like
all
that.
All the shit you think you know in the world is, yeah. Doesn't actually make it. Hold on. I'm waiting for this to load. I apologize. This is not great podcasting.
Thanks for your patience.
We thought we were going to have Harry here.
And so this,
yeah, you guys will get your money back for the show, by the way.
Yeah. No, it's checks in the mail. Apologies. Okay.
At least you got to hear
Jason,
this.
do you think that all right, Bill Beekman? So I've got Tigers, Blue Jays run line, Astros run line, $100 pays $4.95.
Nice.
So that's my, I wouldn't call it the lock of the day, but that's.
So take that knowledge and place a $100 bet, and that's our apology for today's show.
Exactly. That sounds great. Do we have anything else today we want to do?
I don't think so.
Okay, should we just wrap it?
I guess so.
It's a little early. We apologize for the short show. I'm sure we'll hear from Dominic. And no thanks to Harry for his doctor's appointment for not coming on. But, again, if you read the column I wrote on MSU football and you disagree with me, that's fine. Send me an email. I'm happy to have the dialogue. Tweet at me. I'm happy to have the dialogue. But stay away from the tired old arguments. It's not necessarily a political thought. And please don't compare obesity to a virus. It doesn't spread.
Or to Audrey Dahlgren.
Or the same freaking way. I want to thank Skyman and, of course, Front 43 and Cask and Company. We'll be back Friday with your Groovy Donut Twitter questions. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Or something.
Yeah.
Catch me, Drew.
Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or